To what would you give each moment in a day if you knew that you only get 4 unique and different days to shine? It is such an arbitrary number, 4 to be sure. But the parameters are set. You know the day of your execution or of your deliverance. This is a trial by combat. It's a day to define you, a day to test you, a day where all the torturous hours of training come together, where it's you, your gun, your preparation, your teammates, and your tenacity on display, dissected by your enemies, with your skill, your will to win, weighed and measured. It is your chance to prove to the world that in this small slice of place and time, that you above all others are to be remembered, to be respected. In the sport of paintball, it will come down to Sunday, the holy day, where you get to earn your place in the game. And in 2021, you get 4 of these. So this is the story of many moments, but of 1 year of what happens on 4 Sundays.
They have to, they know it, right? Smart fucking paintball.
Malice is just saving the day again, and Malice gets the crossfield shot as well.
Guys couldn't make the corner like I was as consistent.
They get Constantine Fedorov back. They have Todd Martinez as the coach. Randy Smith is intent on building a championship team.
I got the chills, and I was like, we're going to win this tournament.
Pressure's all on them because they're number 1 team. We're the 20th place team.
Level undefeated, the number 1 seed in their division.
They have everything to lose, and we have nothing to lose.
No one can touch Dynasty here. That was a complete masterclass.
You go to bed dreaming you get to play Impact on Sunday and send them home. Then you dream you get to play Houston Heat. Who's the other Titan? Dynasty. There's no better feeling than going up against the big Titans.
Welcome to Go Sports Live. I'm Matty Marshall, and I'm pretty excited to have rookie sensations just kind of really making a name for themselves early on here in their pro careers. The New Orleans Hurricanes. We're going to start it off with their coach, Mike Bianca. We're also going to be bringing on Aaron Pate and Daniel Camp to kind of just, I don't know, let's just discuss the squad and kind of lay the groundwork here. A lot of people just have absolutely no idea where this team came from and what to expect. But I think everyone that's been watching has been pleasantly surprised. So, Mike, let's just jump right into it here because, I mean, so I was hearing a lot. Look, as it always is, and you know this, you don't get any respect until you earn it. I know after now getting to know you a little bit, you're that type of human being. So, yeah, we do have quite a little bit to talk about before we bring in, before we're going to bring Aaron in first and then bring in Daniel. But we didn't really know what to expect about your squad. So I'm going to throw it to you real quick. What were you talking to your guys about at the start of this year? Because I feel, again, having talked to you about this, that you were just total no bullshit about it, very straight with these guys, but very simple with the quests, but things have been achieved. So lay it down for me.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. This is a great honor, and we really appreciate the opportunity to tell our story. So big fan, Matty, been following you years, obviously. Never thought I'd be on this show, so that's kind of cool.
You earned it.
I've always believed that, there are smarter men out there than me. So I usually let them do the talking for me. One thing you'll learn about me is I quote people a lot. And at the beginning of the year, I'm not sure. I believe you and I and Archie were talking about this in Dallas, but there's a book called The 5 Rings. And it was written by this guy called Miyamoto Musashi. And he said, study strategy. It's a fantastic book. If you're into Sun Tzu and all that, you got to do 5 Rings. But he would say, you want to study strategy for years in order to find the spirit of the warrior. And today is victory over ourselves, and tomorrow is victory over lesser men. So something the Canes we always talked about was that strategy aspect, right? We knew coming in we'd have to use this is the weapon, so we'd have to use this. And I don't think success comes from the strategy, but comes rather from the implementation, or rather the execution of that strategy. And in paintball, I would argue that in most cases that execution has to be pretty much flawless. We're not there yet, but we're getting there and we're learning. And that's what we told ourselves leading into the season. We said, hey, look, this is our rookie year. It's going to be tough. Nothing's going to be handed to us. We're going to have to go take it. And I think one of the best lessons is losing. You know, you got to learn from that. You got to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win. And we've had a lot of tough lessons in the first 3 events, but I think we've had a lot of good successes as well. And that's because I think we approach everything from a team and strategic perspective.
Well,
we set very basic goals, Matty.
No, I know. So, and I kind of want to talk about those first goals a little bit, but it was interesting because I always try to do my due diligence when new teams come into the league. And I always tell people that, hey, look, and I'm a human. It's going to take me a while to figure out your guys and where they play. And there's 200 pro players out here, and this is, it's a fast moving thing. But so I kind of tracked you down and had a discussion with you specifically, like, hey, talk to me about your guys, send you text messages. All right, tell me, give me, who plays where, all that information. But I was just, after kind of walking away, I was like, okay, look, I've had a lot of these conversations, but this dude seems like he's shooting it like a very straight arrow here. I mean, he definitely does not seem to be deluding himself or his tribe as to this perilous adventure that they are about to undertake. And so that was my first kind of vibe that I got from you, my first impression. And then at that first event, you guys took a 14th, but it was a 14th in a way where you guys beat Uprising in your very first game in a mercy rule win. So it was like, oh, okay, dude, damn, son. All right, these guys, literally the very first time they take the field as a pro team, they beat a squad that's been around for a while. And not only did they beat them, but they shut them out and didn't let them score a point. Now, you guys, you didn't win your next games, and you lost 3 games in a row, and you did get blown out in your last game by Diesel. This is the very first event we're talking about. But that being said, the next game was against Impact, and you only lost by a point. And then you go and you play Red Legion, and you lose by 3. And then even getting blown completely out by Diesel, your first pro event ever, 14th place, 1-3, but your plus minus was 15 points for and 19 against, a -4. That's pretty impressive, man. I mean, there was 6 teams that did way worse than you at that first event. So after that, after talking to you and seeing you guys play and the way the game was played, I'm like, okay, was that a fluke? And then sure enough, you guys head into the second event and you guys take 6th place. You beat New York Extreme. You lose to Impact by more this time. You lose to Thunder, but then you beat Aftermath. Sorry, this was the last event. The second event, right. Here it is. You guys go 3-1. You beat New York Extreme. You lose to Heat by 2. You beat Level by 2. You beat the ML Kings. That's a sweet run, dude. 3-1. Blind layout too, so showing a lot of composure. Anyway, we're going to be bringing these guys in a little bit, and I definitely want to go down the rabbit hole with you 3, but I just wanted to set the stage to let people know. So you made Sunday at that point in time. You take 6th place, and then this last event, you go 2-2 and take 13th. So, but it was really cool to see, because a lot of people, I will not lie to you, didn't think you guys had much of a chance. I kind of had to delay my opinion on it because I hadn't really seen you guys that much. I mean, really had not seen that much. I was asking around, hey, what do you guys think of the new Hurricane squad? How do you think they're going to do? And most people, their expert opinion was, I don't know, man, it's probably going to be pretty rough for them. It's rough for everyone when they first start, So I just, it was, but then let's go back to what you told the guys. Like, tell me, or again, so everyone can hear this, as to what your checklist was. All right, boys, here we are. We're about to embark on this very perilous adventure and play the best paintball teams and players on planet Earth. Here's our checklist. Talk to me about that.
Well, we kept it simple. I believe in keeping things simple, and so do the guys. Like you and I have talked about before, I have men on the team. I have a bunch of blue collar men. There's not a lot of drama. We understand the importance of teamwork. And that goal was very simple. Let's win a point. Let's win that first point. Then our next goal was let's connect points. Let's win 2 points in a row. Then the third goal was let's win the match, a match. And then the fourth goal was let's not get last. And we just kept it simple. We wanted to go out there, play our game, see where we stood. We made a lot of mistakes in that first event. We had a little bit of a, and of course you're on the big stage that time now. And a lot of people asked me, was it the moment that got to you? No, that wasn't what got to the guys. We just, the pace is a little bit faster. We were having to learn to adapt a little bit quicker. Come on, everybody at this level can play. And if you don't bring your A game every time, every match, every point, you're going to struggle. And that consistency, you and I've talked about this 100 times. That consistency is incredibly important in seeing success in this division. So we're learning to be a little bit more consistent. We're very aware of our shortcomings, and so we're trying to shore those up. But at the same time, we're really hammering home our strengths. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, him and John Wayne, and so there's Bruce Lee believed that, hey, you should absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and basically add what is uniquely your own. And I think that's what we're trying to do in our run here. We're trying to bring our approach to the game. Our approach to the game is an in-depth field walk and leveraging the strengths of the team. I firmly believe that everyone on my team, every one of my guys are weapons. They're a different tool, right? So I've got a different team every layout. And so we study that layout and we leverage the strengths and those tools and those weapons, and we use them to the best of our ability. And we make adjustments when certain things aren't working. I think we adjust pretty fast. I'm not making all these decisions in a vacuum. I have some really great players on my team. And a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll say, I'm thinking this, what are you seeing that I'm not? And the guys are giving me data, and we're going out there and we're doing it together. I think that's what makes the system work.
Before we start bringing in, we're going to bring in Aaron Pate first, but before we start bringing these other guys in, Daniel Camp's also waiting in the wings as well too. How did you assemble this squad? How did you become the coach of this team? Because that was another question that I got a lot as well too, that, for people that have been watching the pro game for a little bit, you guys show up and all of a sudden you make a Sunday and your second time being there, you're going 3-1, and people are like, who the hell are these Hurricanes guys? And also there's not like like you said, you have grown ass men on your team, and there's not a lot of drama. So when you do start going down and kind of looking at some of the different players and how long they've been around, it's not like they just got here, and you don't have like kids on the team. So, give me your, kind of the Cliff Notes version of, before we bring Aaron in, of how you became the leader of this team, and then how this team was assembled, because it's already pretty polished. Like you said, you do have threats. You guys aren't making a lot of mistakes, and you're, contending against some of the best teams out here. This is legit. If you guys don't believe me, go and check it out yourselves. Like, this is actually happening. It's really, really, it's a really cool story here in the game of paintball. So yeah, Mike, how did it begin?
Well, actually, there are several members of this team that I coached on another program. I used to coach and play with Birmingham Prime, and Birmingham Prime was based out of Leeds, Alabama. Aaron Pate was a Prime member. Jacob Seawright for a short time, Justin Bailey. So a lot of these guys, so we chewed a lot of the same dirt. Matter of fact, Drew Bell, Brit Simpson, a lot of them were Rocket kids, and I used to compete against them way back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And so we chewed a lot of the same dirt, and we'd run in a lot of the same circles. And when the Prime program folded, I decided that I was just going to go ahead and start getting my thoughts down on paper. I started a blog called Zen and the Art of Paintball. I started doing local clinics and that sort of thing, and just showing how a grassroots program can be successful if you apply certain processes. And I got a phone call from a team that was not doing very well in Division II. And I think they were second to last, 27th out of 29th or something like that. Now, you're probably familiar with them, a former pro program that fell down and went back into the divisional ranks, and that was CEP. And they called me up and they said, hey, we'd like you to come coach us. And I wasn't really interested, actually. And it's nothing against them. I just wasn't interested in getting back into the coaching thing again and starting over and building all those relationships again. And it was my wife who came up to me and she goes, you're always talking about the process. You're always talking about this steps, these things, the culture, and how the culture can make a team successful. And she goes, what better team to do this with and experiment with? So I blame her. And I ended up coaching that team, and we ended up winning the Division II that year. And shortly after, I got a phone call from my friends on the Hurricanes, and they said, they called me and wanted me to coach. And I said, I don't think you guys need me. You guys, they had already won World Cup with 5 guys. They were already a successful team. They'd seen success. And they said, well, we think you're the missing piece. We need someone to come in. And I think that's the key to any type of successful program. There has to be a trust between leadership and the rest of the team. And long story short, went down there, had a meeting, and just realized that, like I said, these are men. I want to be around men, that guys that don't whine and don't have trauma. And we came together and we started working together. And that was the COVID year. We got together and we won World Cup. And then we won the division that year, even though there's only 2 events. And then we came around and we were in the top 5 the next season in 2021. And then we won the pro spot. And we said, hey, here it comes. This is a big step. And we all had a come to Jesus meeting and talked about, hey, we need to understand what we're embarking on. This is going to be hard, really hard. And everybody looked at each other and said, we're up for the challenge. Let's see where we stand. Let's do this. Let's apply these same concepts that we've been applying this whole time. It's so funny, Matty, humans are hardwired to find the negative, right? From back in the caveman days, we were like, we'd wake 100%. Up and go, what's going to kill us today? And the key, I think, obviously, is to be proactive in finding the positive. And so that's what we try to do. We take those lessons from the negative. We don't forget them. We don't sit there and polish over the negative, but we don't dwell on them. And then we turn around and we say, okay, well, let's not complain about it. Let's learn from it and move on, and let's get better and smarter. And I think that's what's a real strength of this team. You're not gonna, if we lose or win, you're not gonna see any different reaction from us. We're here to compete, and we're here to do a job, and we enjoy it. And, it's just cool that we get to do it on this stage.
It's been great to have you on the stage so far. I think this is a great time to bring in Aaron Pate. Pate. Aaron Paint is his also is hit him up on Instagram. It's stuck in my brain now though. But but Pate's been solid for you guys. And I think that it's been so welcome to the show here, Aaron. Looking forward to also just to touch base with everybody because again, no one really knows who the Hurricanes are. And now having to get to know some of your guys and seeing you guys play the first 3 events, it's a paintball story worth following because you really are putting up really good fights against some of the best teams in the league, and also and making a Sunday. There's 20 teams in the league right now. There are 3 events. You guys are sitting at 10th place. That's legit right there, bro. That's what we're asking for. When we're asking for, I'm always asking the paintball world, like, give me a reason to care. That's what we're asking the entire world in general. Give me a reason to care. If we can't have fascinating paintball stories, no one's going to give a shit about this sport. And you guys have a really cool paintball story going on right now. So again, I'm just really glad Aaron and Mike, and we're going to have Daniel come on in a little bit here, a couple minutes. But yeah, it's a really interesting emerging story. So Aaron, my first question to you would be, because a lot of people keep asking me, is that how did you guys get this good that right away? Because typically when people come to the pro league, they get their asses kicked for at least a little bit. And you guys won your first game by a mercy rule win, shutting out a team that's been here for 5 or 6 years. And that was the only game that you won in that first one. But then you make Sunday, going 3-1 at your next event. And then you go 2-2 and barely miss Sunday. Well, you were -4 at this last one, but still, 2-2 is pretty legit. So yeah, Aaron, how'd you guys get this good already?
Well, it helps when the average age of the team is, around the age where you can get Medicare. So that's a good thing, where you have guys that have played paintball for just 10, 15, maybe even more years. All that experience just culminates into something, especially in a team element where I've only been playing tournament paintball for maybe 10 years, but I can look up to a Drew Bell or a Stuart Ridgel who's played at the highest level. They've learned a thing or two during their time before when they played at the highest level. And it's just from the top down, everybody is learning from everybody. So I think that, along with, most of these guys have been together for a number of years. We all know how each other thinks. We know what we want to do, what someone else wants to do. It's just a matter of, trying to figure out the pieces, what the other team is doing, what's stopping us, how to move past that. And I think, in these close games, that and the pro division, that's everything, is piecing that together quicker than the other team. And that's the one thing that if we could just get a little bit better at, these games would be a lot closer. We'd probably be maybe even win these games. So that's not something that takes, you're not going to get that in one practice. It just takes time.
But you guys, I mean, you just got here. We're 3 events into your pro paintball careers. You guys have already made a Sunday. Sometimes teams don't ever make Sundays. You took a 6th place during that Sunday. And then, so you skipped the wild card round. It's a little bit different at that second one because it was, but still 6th place is a 6th place. Take it when you can get it. But you guys did go that 3-1 and then 2-2 in this last one. So you guys have just shown a lot of polish early. But yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to have you guys on the show, to let the paintball world know, though, is that because there is a lot of experience there, you guys are kind of catching each other and the sport at a time where you're peaking enough in your own personal careers that it's happening at the same time. Or so, because if you look at, this is where Pate, I kind of want to, or Aaron, I'm so used to calling you Pate because I see your jersey, and I don't know, everyone used to call me Marshall.
No, that's fine. That's
Matty,
fine.
But it's like, but it's so my bad. But and I'm just learning you guys too. But it's that on the field, like Mike had said, because I'm always asking this, right? When I play you, when we're talking about teams out there, who are your threats? When I play you, who am I worried about? If I'm the coach, who am I game planning against? If I'm going to play on the D side, on the snake side, if I'm in back center, I'm trying to shoot a body on the break. Who am I trying to shoot? Like, who am I worried about, right? And I just feel that your starting 5. I mean, you guys do rotate a little bit because it's more of like 6 or 7 to get most of the spins, and you have a decently deep roster. But so Aaron, I mean, just define your game, because I feel that you've been one of those guys that's been really versatile. I'm kind of looking up and watching you kind of get to a lot of spots, or you're making the moves at the right time, sometimes saving some points, and you guys have different dudes. You got, Ridgel's kind of blowing things open in the center, and you got kind of a mix of dudes that are playing the snake side as the 1, and the D side, same sort of situation there. But you've been a pretty Johnny on the spot type player for the squad. So how would you define your game, and where do you feel? I see Mike shaking his head like, yes, but you need a guy like you, like you have to have, if you want to excel in the pro division, you need it all, right? You have to have a threat on the D side. You have to have a threat on the snake side. You need a bruiser up the center. You guys have those, but you need a couple dudes like a Marcelo Margot for Dynasty. I mean, Archie is now that guy too. He plays a little bit more, played more the 1 in the last one, but you need some versatility out there. Aaron, you seem to be one of those versatile guys. Talk to me about your game.
Well, I don't try and pin myself into like a square peg, for example. I look at the field, break it down with everybody. What does the field require of the team? Where's the strong side? How do you hold back if they're really up on your side of the field? What do you do to try and take control back? And then past that, it's okay, well, we have our missiles. They're going to do their thing. And then from there, where does the team need me to be? And so at practice, one weekend I might play snake side. The other weekend I might play Dorito side. I'll even ask Bianca, like, hey, where do you want me? Because I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm doing. But it all works out. And it helps me get an understanding of the field as a whole, from the attacker working all the way back. If I'm doing X, chances are he's probably doing Y, and I need to be able to read and react off of that. And also, I can't do anything that I do without having somebody tell me, hey, he's here. I'm holding this. Can you help me with this? I'm like, yeah, I can help you with that. Let me go over here and help you out. So, team communication really is underestimated. That you need good team communication to get an idea of, instead of looking at it from, this tunnel vision aspect, kind of look at it from above the field and look down and see where the pieces are. and then what's the best strategy based on what you're seeing from that aerial view? What's the best way to attack? So I guess that's my way of approaching the game is, not so much what's in front of me right now. What are the guys doing? What are their guys doing? Where's the hole at? And that's pretty much
if A,
it.
then B paintball.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then Mike, if we could bring you in a little bit here, because Pate is a little bit of a Swiss Army knife for you guys, and you need that type of player because you do have some role players, and people are going to start to understand. Okay, well, if we're playing the Hurricanes, then like you said, if A, then B. Well, and then some of the best teams out there that are winning tournaments right now. If you look at Dynasty, they have some role players, but they have some guys that are a little bit less scoutable. You can have role players. That's fine. I mean, everyone knows Billy Bernacchi is going to go into the snake. I mean, so that's you got to stop him. Mouse is going to play on the snake side. Can you stop him is the question. So you can have those. But I mean, when you're looking at, say, with Aaron's role on the team, since we have him here, and then just as a coach, how are you kind of looking at least this early on? Because you guys do carry a deep roster, and you guys are now, you as the coach are looking at it. Okay, well, who is going to be stepping up to this different pace? Because that's the difference, right? It's not the snap shooting. It's not the running and shooting. Like, you should have all that down by the time you get to the pros. It's the quickness of the timing. It's understanding the variables in the scramble. It's knowing that the game plan sometimes gets chucked out the window, and I got to be smarter than my opponent and think, both linearly, but also creatively based on the situation, given what's happening in front of me. So, you got to figure out who your guys are going to be. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about Aaron's game and how he fits into the as a puzzle piece to the overall, hierarchy of what you're trying to achieve. And then just in general about what you feel, because again, we're going to bring Daniel in here in a little bit too. So just as the coach, what are you thinking about where the team is, kind of becoming cohesive on the attack and in these different, changing variable situations, which I think you guys are thriving in?
That actually, everything you just described is what we talk about on the team as processing speed. We talk about, this is the weapon. We said that earlier. And that weapon is your brain, which is a computer. And everyone processes information and data at different rates. Pate's one of those guys that processes data pretty quickly. And here's the thing. You talk about having specialists, right? Your Chad Georges and your Mouses and these they're a snake side threat rather. I have a lot of paintball players. I have a lot of utility players, whether you're playing from your stomach or your feet, I have some paintball players. But you're right. Teams are going to start recognizing those tendencies, and we need to be cognitive of that. But Aaron Pate, the best way to describe Aaron, and since I've known him for a long time, coaching him since he was in D4, and he's just, his acceleration and learning is just, and Pate, I'm not blowing sunshine up your buhukas. I've said this to your face, so I'm not afraid to say this in front of everybody else. But Pate is what I would call an anchor. I have several anchors on the team. These are guys that I know who can do the job. I can give them any job. Daniel Camp's going to be another one, right? Mm-hmm. Drew Bell's going to, Stuart Ridgel, Mike Brown. These are guys that I can sit there and say, hey, I need this job to get done. And they'll go do the job. And if that job is one thing, they'll do it. If that job is three things, they'll make sure they practice it and study it and ask for feedback on how it needs to shift. That's what I love about it. There's no egos on this team. Aaron Pate will come to me, like he said, he'll come and say, where do you need me here? I'm not sure where I am. And I know exactly where I need to pivot him. I know I that's the beauty of this team. These guys are so disciplined, right? When it comes to practice and requirements and need. And so that's what I love about Aaron. When Aaron asks questions like that, Aaron knows exactly what he's asking. He knows exactly what he's going to be, here. And that is, I'm going to need you where I need you. And, he's one of those insert plays.
That's right.
I can put him the 2 on the snake side. I can put him the 2 on the D side. I can put him as the 3, he's a great communicator. He's a great gunfighter. So, he's also won a 1-on-1 already and got a coin from you. Now, if he had just won that one against Rabakov.
I knew this would come up.
All right, it's all good. It's all good.
What
That's
happened?
why I brought
Aaron?
this.
On a
Tell the
serious
people.
point, though, Matty, that's what it is. We called him a
That's why I
Swiss
brought
Army
this.
knife, and that's what he is.
Talk to me about Aaron. I know. Look, you are a coin winner, and if anyone's go to coinduel.com. I just love what they're doing. They're not even paying me any money for this. I just think it's such a genius thing. But yeah, go to CoinDuel. You can buy silver coins, challenge for gold coins. The pros can win red and gold coins. The only way you can get these red and gold coins is if you don't even have to be a pro. You just have to be on the main field at a show. And so you can get these red and gold coins by winning a one-on-one. And we're actually going to start making, well, not we, but I just was with Alex on a vacation this last weekend. And I was like, bro, people keep coming up to me and saying, hey, do I get more than one coin for this 1-on-2 that I just pulled off, for this 1-on-3? And he's like, well, you tell him no, right? Because it's a 1-on-1 coin. I'm like, yeah, but no one seems to understand that it's the 1-on-1 coin. They want these extra coins. And so just to put that to a rest, Alex is like, well, fine, I'll just make 2-on-1 coins and 3-on-1 coins, or 1-on-2 and 1-on-3 coins. So those will be coming up here. Anyway, so Aaron, you're a coin holder, a red and gold coin holder. You're a pro paintball player, so you have gold coins. So try to come challenge Aaron at some point in time if you can get silvers. Anyway, so what happened with this J-Rap situation, bro? He's trying to get out of here.
Yeah, so other than losing, I guess J-Rap shot his buddy because it was a 2-on-1, because his buddy was about to come dunk me. I kind of wish he did. That way we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, because you lose a 1-on-2, who cares? Nobody cares. But I move up, and I've watched the tapes so many times, and I hate myself for not being maybe a little more aggressive, because for a while he and I, in a 1-on-1, and I hate to say this, we were trying to shoot a bounce shot to hit each other, and it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for him. And so I wish I would have been a little more aggressive. Instead of just shooting a bounce shot, just go get the guy. Yeah, you can't go wrong with going to get the guy. But instead, I hesitated. I stayed back. J-Rap comes out, puts a very good snapshot on me, and the rest is history. We lost bad. But it's just moments like that. You gotta learn. You gotta watch the tape. What could you have done better? And just get ready for the next one. So here we are.
Yeah, well, again, don't beat yourself up too much. I mean, again, you did lose that game by a little bit, but you did beat Aftermath by 1. You beat New York Extreme by 2. You did lose to Thunder. Thunder had an event. It's just pro paintball in general. I think, Mike, before we let you go, because we do got to bring Daniel on, I do really appreciate everything that you've done, man. I highly respect the journey that you are helping lead these guys on. I know it's very, very perilous. It's a very difficult thing to do, but it's been highly impressive. But I do got to ask you, just because you are the leader of the team and you are a very, I feel, you do seem to understand what's happening out here. And I do love talking to you about things and bouncing questions off of you. And we're just kind of getting to know each other this year. But, the very first time I met you, I was like, oh, dude, I got to get that guy on a show, because that dude definitely knows what the hell he's talking about. And this is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the Hurricanes. And then, but again, I talked to some dudes that seem to be, I call them, so everyone's sentient, but then you have the hyper sentient people that's like really have things dialed. They're laser eye beaming you in. They seem to have been well read, and they know what the hell's going on around them. And they're also understanding where they may be deficient. Anyway, I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your ass, Mike. I'm just, shooting you straight, because that was the read I got on you. But that being said, it's getting crazy out here in pro paintball. And so before I let you go, I mean, you guys are sitting at 10th place. I really don't think relegation is something you guys need to be worrying yourselves about. But there are, in this mix, and we are in a transition period in this sport. Dynasty is again proving that even though they're long in the tooth and 40 years old, that if you're really good at this part of the game up here, that you are going to excel. And they are setting the bar yet again for everyone, but also I feel in kind of an inspirational way, because again, these dudes are 40 years old. So Dynasty's up there. You got Heat and Damage sitting at 2nd and 3rd, and Impact at 4th. And then Revo also had a great event. Infamous, missing a Sunday. Anyway, you got the ML Kings 4 Sundays in a row. But I'm just kind of setting the stage a little bit here. And then as we get kind of down a little bit, it's just getting confusing for for some fans out there, because it's a topsy-turvy paintball world. I mean, again, you guys are sitting at 10th. So give me one name from the below you that you think could do better. We'll start there, and then I got another question for you after that before I let you go, and then we're going to bring Daniel in. So again, you guys are sitting at 10th. You got Energy, Level, Legion, Diesel, Thunder, Saints, NYX, Ironman, Uprising, DMG. Who impressed you other than Legion at this last event that's ranked below you guys?
Well, I think you're going to see their rank change after Sacramento, and that's Thunder. Thunder's very impressive to me. Of course, an ill-timed penalty in that match changed the momentum, and that happens, right? We've got to roll with those types of things. But I think Thunder is they beat Heat in the first event. They also went 1-3, I think, in the first event. You can never look past Mr. Johnson and the Diesel crew. He's got a tremendous amount of capabilities and weapons on that team. I'll tell you something. If Rich Telford can figure out how to get NYX to play as a team, they're going to be really dangerous. There's just
so inconsistent.
Like you said, it's up to look at Revo right now. Revo, if you really look at Revo, shouldn't have been surprising to anybody at this last event, because if you look at their previous events, they lost to Dynasty by 1. They did it again. They lost by 1 at this event. They lost to X Factor by 1. They lost to Impact by 1. They lost to the Saints when the Saints were the big deal by 1. Now then they turn around and get mercied by Energy. But we talk about matchups. I talked to Mike Hinman about this. Matchups make great stories, make great matches, and I just think Revo is. You and I talked about this, I think, in Dallas, along with Rich. We talked about the academics of the game, and I think teams are just catching up with that. People are just starting to realize that these academics are, it's about the execution. This can be an academic game. Now, granted, a bounce here or a break there or a penalty there, sure, but we control what we can control. And teams are learning how to leverage that control a little bit better. So look at ML Kings, 4 Sundays in a row, right? So, I mean, you're right. It's anybody's game out there, any given Sunday, as they say. So, yeah, I'm very interested in this. I will tell you this from our perspective, from the New Orleans Hurricanes perspective, we're laser focused on Chicago. We're just worried about us and our performance. And so we're going to sharpen the sword, get the Bowie knives out, eat a couple of gators in the swamp and get that protein and see what we can do and come out strong for Chicago.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time. I love what you're doing with the squad. Again, like you told to Aaron, I'm not just trying to blow sunshine up your, up your backside right here. I really do think that if you look at what you guys have done here in such a small amount of time, yeah, you haven't won any tournaments, you haven't advanced deep on Sunday, but to have a brand new pro team come in and do what you guys did, winning your first game by a shutout and impressing a lot of people, barely losing to Impact. And yeah, 14th, but then 6 plates at the last event, going 2-2 with that -4 and missing Sunday. I think you guys, with the way that you guys' heads are screwed on, I think you guys have a very bright future in front of you. And I don't even necessarily think that the roster needs to change. So, and that's something I rarely don't say. It's not something that's not something I normally comes out of my mouth when we're talking about a rookie pro team. So I think
I will tell you that Aaron Pate and Daniel Camp, they make it easy for me, Matty. They really do.
Yeah. So we're saying goodbye to Mike here. We're going to bring Daniel on again. Mike, cheers to you, brother, man. Keep fighting the good fight down there. And so Aaron, as we say goodbye to Mike, I do have to ask you, because a lot of people ask me this question as well too, is that where is everyone kind of located? Like where is the team? Obviously it's the New Orleans Hurricanes. Are you guys out of New Orleans? Is it kind of around that area? Is it more just in the South? As we say hi to Daniel Camp. He's a very tall young man, as you can see there on your screen. But yeah, Aaron, where is everyone out of?
Well, the team is not located in New Orleans, but the field is in Slidell, which is maybe 30 minutes outside of New Orleans. As far as the roster goes, Stu, Drew, Seawright, Mike Brown, those are going to be your Louisiana guys. Daniel is up in the mountains. He's probably, after this, he's probably going to go ski off a cliff or something. I don't know what they do up in Colorado, but That's where he's at. So he's the furthest away. Past that, I'm 2 hours east of Slidell. I'm in Alabama on the Gulf Coast. Mike Bianca, Justin Bailey, they're in the Birmingham, Alabama area. And then Aaron Smith, he's going to be our Atlanta, Georgia guy. He's our only Georgia guy. So we're pretty spread out, but we make it happen.
Hey, that sounds like a standard pro team to me. I mean, I played on different teams and we got people from all over the place. Well, hey, Daniel Camp, welcome to the show. How you doing up there in Colorado? Are you about to go get on a mountain after this? Is Aaron right, or is that not this time of the year for that? We need some audio from Daniel.
Yeah, no.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. Oh, wait, I just heard him. Yeah.
All right, sorry, we missed the first thing you said, probably about your summer skiing adventure. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so everyone always thinks that it's really snowy here, and everyone in Louisiana kind of gives me crap that the pools in Denver are open for like a hot 2 weeks, so you got to go run to the pools. But that is not the case. It's really beautiful in Denver in the summer. Although Mike Urena actually came out for a clinic that we did last weekend, and it ended up being pretty cold, and he brought a hoodie because he thought it was just always cold, but it actually was just kind of a bit of a chilly weekend. But normally it's beautiful.
So I forgot, actually, glad that you mentioned that. I was supposed to ask you about how the clinic went with Mike Urena this weekend. I have no idea why I was told to ask you this, but I was just
Daniel,
like,
tell him why.
They were like, how did the clinic go? How did the clinic go with Mikey Urena? And I love Mikey Urena, so I'm wondering what happened.
Yeah, so we did a clinic. They called it like the Contender, kind of like a UFC style thing. So Mike and I went and brought the people that came through some drills, the players through some drills on Saturday, and then we ended up picking teams and then played situationals the rest of Saturday, and then full on matches on Sunday. And so it's kind of like, my team versus his team, and street ball style picking of teams. And our teams were pretty evenly matched at first. I think we tied the first one. My team won the second, and then kind of mercy the third match. So that was a fun experience, being able to do that and kind of do a new interesting thing. So shout out to Tony at APC for having us. And then at the end of the day, we also did a one-on-one, a best 2 out of 3 one-on-one challenge. And at first it was kind of like, should we put up a gold coin for this? And I was like, man, with the branding of this event, I feel like we have to. I feel like we got to give the people what they want. And I ended up winning the 1v1 2 out of 3. So got a gold coin from Mike last weekend.
Nice. So you got a gold coin, and your team did well in the overall against Mikey Urena, which, hey, look, Mikey Urena is legit. He's on the best team in paintball right now. He's not like he's riding the bench. He's contributing. And Mikey Urena really impressed me too when it's just so interesting how I just love this, man. Like, as long as I've been in the game and how many paintball players I've seen over the years, I love when stuff like this happens. That's why I'm really digging your guys' journey, because when you guys go out, and I don't expect much, because I've seen this a lot of times, new pro team comes in, they get their asses kicked, and then after a couple of years they go away, or the best players on the team go somewhere else. Again, this has happened time and time again over the past 20 years, or even longer than that. Anyway, but now you guys are, I'm hitting up Mike and being like, we got to get your guys on the show. Who are the two? I need 2 dudes. Give me 2 names. All right. He's like, it's going to be Daniel Camp and Eric Pate. And I was like, all right, sweet. Anyway, and then you're telling me this cool story. But Mikey Urena showed up last year, and this is why it's even kind of cooler that you're telling me the story about you doing really well against Mikey, because he showed up at the open event playing out of position with the ASG All-Stars and looked like a goddamn all-star out there, not playing the first attacker. So, and then now he's really been helping Dynasty. So this is just, we are watching a transition happen. The game is transitioning. We're seeing older players start to eventually, they're going to work their way out. I mean, again, I just hung out with Alex Frazee last weekend. We were playing golf. I won a coin from him. I've just been printing gold coins off of Alex Frazee playing golf. Alex, I love you, buddy. It's another story, but yeah. And I just have like all my gold coins have come from Yosh and Alex essentially playing, because I got my blacks that I got to put up anyway. But and I was talking to him like, Alex, I'm like, how long do you want to play? Like, how long can you play? seriously, we're on like hole 5 and it's 95 degrees out there and he's doing great. He's a champion. He's pounding beers. We're having an excellent time. And even though I've got him by a few strokes, he looks spry. So I'm like, how long can you play this game for? And he's like, dude, I'm going to keep playing as long as I possibly can until these people show up and prove to us that we don't belong in that winner circle anymore. Then we're going to continue to play this game, however long that is, 50, 45, whatever it may be. Right. And so that's the challenge to you guys. Right. And the challenge to a guy like Mikey Arena, who's on that team. It's like, be better than me, as these legends in the game. And you hear the same thing out of a lot of these guys. It's like, I'm going to keep some of the guys on Damage say the same thing. They're like, I'm not retiring until somebody comes up and takes my spot because I can't let my boys down. So I'm going to continue to play this role until I'm forced out. And then now we are starting to see this churn. And it's interesting because you guys have been here for a while now, and you guys are getting good enough that we have to, it's like I always tell everyone, force people to remember your name. No one cares about you until you make them care. That's your opponents. That's the world. That's just how things are on planet Earth. And you better know that going in. Like, no one's just going to show up and be like, oh my God, Daniel Camp's so amazing. No, that's not how it works. You got to show up and be amazing. And then you got to do it again the next time. And then you got to do it again. So they've seen it enough. They're like, oh, hey, dude, we need to watch this guy. And then after now we're pointing at you, then you do it again. That's what Dynasty's been doing for 2 decades. So it's just really cool that you showed up and did that. I mean, to go on a tangent, but I just wanted to give you your due credit because Mikey Arena is getting legit, dude. Like he's a really, really, really key component of Dynasty's recent success. Go for it.
And I do want to just say, I had a great time with Mike. He's a really cool dude. And I definitely learned some things from him while he was there. So, definitely props to Mike. He did say that he went out in Denver and actually crashed on one of those little scooters while he was there. So we can give him a little slack for the one-on-one there.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, those things can be treacherous for sure. No, that's super cool. And honestly, like, you guys should be teaching as many clinics as you possibly can because people, number one, you guys deserve the money. And number two, people need that. I mean, it's no matter what you want to do in this world, I don't care what it is, it would be in your best interest to pay someone that's better than you at it so that you don't have to waste your money and time trying to attain the skills that you need for the mastery so you can actually, whether it's for fun or to actually try to win. So Pate, maybe we can, let's do this. Let's have you define Daniel Camp's style. Like when I just love doing this when we got different guys on, so if you're looking at Daniel Camp as your teammate, if you had to describe his style and where he fits in on the team to the rest of the world, somebody that doesn't know, how would you describe his role?
Daniel Camp, straight shooter with upper management written all over him. This guy can do it all. Have you seen his ab crunch video? And the one-on-one against Impact, he shows it off. He showed too much. People need to pay for that ab crunch DVD. No, but really though, Daniel, great communicator, great gun off the break. He's a guy, usually I guess you could say he plays the 2 more often than not, usually on the snake side. I hope nobody's watching and writing this down on a pro team. But
they are for sure 100%.
He can lock it down. He can zone it up. He'll talk to you, tell you what the deal is, and he's not afraid to get into the shit. If the attacker does his thing, Daniel, he knows it's cleanup time, so he'll get in there. He'll get in the fight. So Daniel, great well-rounded player, very tall, taller than me, and he's in better shape than I am. So I got to give him the nod on that too. So that's Daniel Camp in a nutshell.
All right. So Daniel, if you were to describe Aaron Pate's style and how he fits into the squad, again, I'm kind of coming into the paintball world. I look at the standings. I'm like, oh, Hurricanes rookie pro team sitting at 10th. Damn, they already made a Sunday. That's impressive. And I'm looking at the starting roster. I'm like, oh, okay, who's Aaron Pate? Bam, lay it down for me.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. A lot of the things that Aaron said about me, especially off the break shooting, Aaron hits some shots off the break that just blow my mind. So he's one of the strongest guns we have off the break. He also just manages to put that a ball on someone when we really need him to. A lot of the matches that we had in Philly, he was alive and, you know, making moves and somehow getting a ball on someone when we really needed him to. So he's a nasty gunfighter. I will say, as far as personality goes, I've described Aaron as the nicest dick in paintball because he's such a nice dude. But man, he's gonna shoot it. He's gonna shoot it to you straight. He's gonna tell you if he did something stupid. Like, he's not gonna pull any punches at all. But he's a great dude. But he's kind of a dick.
I do it out of
look,
love, I promise.
Hey, look, you know, when I was talking to Mike, and again, I like talking to Mike because, you know, Mike, he can speak well. And then, so I was like, look, dude, I need out of your starting 5. And he's like, oh, they're all pretty good. They can speak decent. And I'm like, look, I just need 2 dudes. They got to be kind of funny. They need to be well-spoken. You know, give me something. I'm going to be talking to these dudes for 20, 30 minutes. I need some animation here. I need some elaboration. I call it the 3 E's: energy, enthusiasm, and elaboration. Give me that. And he's like, all right, well, let's go with Pate and Camp. And I was like, okay, cool. So you guys come highly recommended. And it's so you guys are coming as advertised. I appreciate that. So you know, Daniel, since we had Aaron out a little bit already, let me just throw it to you a little bit here. You know, again, you guys are, and we were talking about this with Mike, is that 14th, 6th, 13th. You guys barely missed Sunday, but it was with a -4. 2-2 though. So that's the thing, right? 2 wins, 2 losses. But when you do go 2-2 with the -4, you're almost always not going to make it to Sunday. But the point that I'm trying to make is that after 3 events with this rookie year that you guys are having, all of a sudden people are taking notice. I mean, and you're going to be getting people's best games. And I've already asked, you know, Aaron and Mike to kind of talk a little bit about this. But, you know, again, we do have to speak on this because this is everyone's dream, right? I mean, not necessarily everyone. Some people are just showing up and playing for fun. But even the people that are playing for fun are probably thinking in their mind, like, okay, well, if I got on a pro team, what would that look like? Or if me and my boys, if we were able to actually make a run for it, you know, and we got out there, how would we do? You guys are currently doing that. So how do you think you're doing? And give me a kind of a you know, as people say these days, give me the vibe on the team right now. How's it feeling?
Yeah. So I guess I'll say, you know, you said that we're sitting at 10th. And you know, that is awesome for our first season. I will say that not in a cocky way, just like when we thought about being bumped up to pro, I kind of thought, like, you know, we'll probably be a middle of the road pro team if we do make the jump. And I think that's just because we have, you know, we've, like Aaron has said, we've played for a really long time together. We have a really good structure and culture. So, you know, Stuart Ridgel, he has really led the team, you know, on and off the field since its inception. And he, you know, he focuses on, you know, positive practices and giving each other feedback. That's one thing that we do a really good job of, is, you know, making sure that we understand when we make a mistake. We'll tell that person and give them constructive feedback. And the other thing is that, you know, all of our players will accept that feedback and learn from it, right? So we have a really good team culture that I think a lot of teams, you know, in whatever division struggle to build. So that's something that we've done a really good job of. And, you know, as far as being in the pro division right now, I'm very grateful. This is my first year playing pro. Always dreamed of it. And, you know, a lot of us are getting older. Like, I'm 33. We got some older dudes on the team, and we're really just enjoying this moment, right? You know, we're enjoying this season of our lives where we've made it. We made it to the pro division, and we did it ourselves. We built this team up and earned the spot. So we're really enjoying the moment at the matches, you know, really trying to be present while we're on the field and with each other. And then also just enjoying the season that we're having right now and, you know, playing with each other.
And so, Aaron, I would say, and I'm glad, Daniel, that you mentioned Stuart, because I feel in your 3 events that I've watched, he's your guys' MVP. So I don't know what he is like off the field or how much he has to do with the, you know, how good of a teammate he is, but that dude is a beast up the center of the field. Everyone needs a bully in the center of the field, and he's your guys' bully. Talk to me about him as a player, because if you play the Hurricanes, you can't stop that. It can't stop him in the center. I mean, he's like your guys' Blake Garber or your Alex Rodriguez. I mean, he's been really impressive. At the second event, through I think maybe 3 games, he was the best center player that was out there, period. Like on every team. It was impressive, dude. Really was.
Yes, Stu, he's a great guy on and off the field. On the field, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to make sure that the team is where it needs to be. He really preaches on doing the drills, getting field time, but at the same time, off the field, are you taking care of your body? What's your nutrition? What are you putting into your body? So he's big picture. No stone unturned. He's completely 100% committed to being the best player that he can be. And it shows. He's great up the center, got great tendencies, and he's our team leader. And he exemplifies everything that you want in a leader. He's I consider him to be selfless. He's not about, trying to get all the praise, this, that, and the other. He just wants to go out there and play paintball with his friends. So, props to Stu. I love the guy. I'm pretty sure everybody else loves him too. I couldn't ask for a better teammate than Stuart Ridgel, honestly.
And Daniel, talk to me about, because I can't keep you guys here all night, but I do have a couple more questions for you guys before I let you go. But yeah, again, just people. So a lot of people are just unfamiliar with your team. We've talked about you guys and how your game. We talked about the center. Just give me the D side rundown, because I've seen you guys a decent amount on the snake side. You guys are very versatile, but who's the first attacker on that D side for you guys? Because again, you don't do as well as you guys are doing right now without you're about the top 7 being pretty damn good. So I just want to give some of those guys some props, but do it through your words because you guys know these guys the best. So, talk to me about that D side here, Daniel.
Yeah, totally. And so actually, C Wright, who's our small little bullet, he has played the Dorito side historically for the team. He actually played on the snake side in Philadelphia, but he's normally been our one attacker over the years, and he sees paint better than maybe anyone that I know. He will come off the field and be like, yeah, I saw the paint and like dove like an inch below it. And I'm just like, man, how are you doing that? It's impressive what he can do. He's very versatile, and that's why we ended up putting him on the snake side in Philly. But then as far as the attackers on the Dorito side, we've got Brit Simpson and Mike Brown, and really, they kind of end up swapping roles a decent bit too. I think Mike Brown maybe played a little bit more in the Philly layout. But man, Britt is one of those dudes from the Rocket Kids. He's one of those OG Rocket Kids, so he's been around for a long time. Has some funny stories that I've heard you tell. And he's very committed to paintball, even at his age. He's very committed to getting better and improving all the time. He's doing a lot of stuff off the field. That I think a lot of other people aren't doing, but he's gotten super fast and really improved over the years since he kind of picked it back up. And then Michael Brown, he's a relatively new addition to the team, but he's young and athletic, so he can make the spots on the Dorito side as the one. But man, he is a really good communicator. So when he's over there and alive, he's talking and making sure that everyone knows what's going on, and just doing a really good job of putting the communication across the field.
Yeah, Britt's a character, dude. He was telling me a story that I'd never heard about a moment that I knew very well, because it's not one of my finer moments. But I think I can't remember what show I told this on. Was it last show? I can't remember, but it was
with Archie. I just watched
the last show. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Whatever. So I just told the story, but it was hilarious. I didn't know if you guys saw it, but yeah, it was the whole, okay, if my boy beats your boy, like I get your gun, but if I lose, you can punch me in the face. And then I smoked down the dude that you guys was playing. And then little Brit, who was a kid at the time, just was like, peace, and then just dipped out and ran. Which was hilarious. And I don't really want to tell that story more than I have to, because again, I ended up losing to a dude that will remain nameless, but everyone that's watched some shows knows it. Not my finest moment, considering how hungover I was. Anyway, but yeah, and I didn't know Brit was there for that. And so he was telling me the story. Anyway, but it's just he's a character, and yeah, and it's you have some depth though. That's kind of what's interesting. And then Pate, maybe talk to me a little bit more about the snake side. And if you guys are worried about like giving away your secrets away to your opponents, like if you don't think that all these coaches have watched every single point that you guys have played this year and taken notes, then you're crazy. So you're not really giving anything away here. All we're doing is just giving some more information to the people that are, that we want to care about the game. So yeah, talk to me a little bit more about this snake side.
Well, snake side, we have Aaron Smith, who is our Georgia boy. He's from the I-75 collective up there in Atlanta. He's a missile. He's the definition of a professional athlete. He works out quite a bit, takes care of his body, and the boy is fast. He is really fast, very aggressive, and he's very good on his gun. So if you need someone to go do something quick and take some bodies with him, he's your guy. And like Daniel said earlier,
one of the younger guys on the team too, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think he's might be 21. Daniel, do you know?
22,
21?
maybe.
Somewhere around there. Younger than the rest of us by more than a mile. So, yeah, he's definitely the youngest guy.
It's like half my age.
But like what Daniel was alluding to earlier, we had Seawright playing the snake side a little bit more this last event. So to start the season, Matt Hamilton, who was a longtime player, he started out, he was our snake player, and then he retired after Dallas. And so, someone's got to fill those shoes. And Aaron Smith has definitely stepped up to the plate on that. And Seawright has as well. So, I think it all depends on the field a little bit. Can we make snake off break? Can we not? Aaron Smith is definitely going to be over there on that snake side. Seawright maybe will still be over there. Who knows? I'll let you know when the Chicago layout drops, because usually, at least in my experience, Chicago's been a very aggressive layout. So
yes,
you might be seeing a lot more of Aaron Smith and Jacob Seawright on the snake side. Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally we get a little bit of a peculiar, aggressive, unconventional layout historically with Chicago. I mean, Jason has been absolutely crushing it with the layouts, so I'm expecting this one to be fun. So we'll see. But yeah, no, it's just, again, it's interesting because I really like what Mike's doing with you guys from a mental aspect. You guys are all grown men for the most part. Not a lot of young dudes on the team. Yeah, Smith's a little bit younger, but seems pretty polished for his age, especially if you have a ton of older guys around you constantly. It just, the whole enterprise is making a lot of sense. So before I let you guys go, I do want to throw a couple more questions about the league in general. It's just, since you guys are sitting at 10th, I mean, did you have any heroes, Daniel, maybe coming in? I'll ask you first. Anybody you're looking up to, thinking, all right, well, and I really want to play this team because I've been looking up to this team for a long time, and I would like to crush Dynasty, or I would like to crush, Infamous, because as we always say, you would like to play your heroes so that your heroes become your peers. And the only way you do that is when you can actually show up and beat those idols of yours. And it's just realistic. I mean, I that happened to me in my career too when I was younger, and I think it happens to everyone. That's just we're human beings. When you get into something and you look at who's doing it well, you want to emulate that. And then eventually, if you do it well enough, then one day you will be playing against those people. But you have to have enough of an edge to your own mindset to be able to think dominantly about that engagement. So again, Daniel, we'll start with you. I mean, is there anyone that's sitting above you guys right now? Again, you're 10th. So X Factor, Infamous, Aftermath, Impact, Damage, Heat, Dynasty. If you're matching up across, like, put that imaginary team, you guys make it to the finals, and who's on the other side right now for you?
Man, it's a good question. I think, going back to when I was a kid just getting into tournament paintball, I went to the NPPL Denver when it was at Mile High, in the parking lot over there, and I got, some stuff signed by Dynasty, by all those dudes. Had a hat that I got signed and wore that till till it fell apart basically. So I'd have to say, you know, that's kind of like my, you know, my longtime team, you know, had posters and stuff of them on my wall and stuff. So definitely one of those sorts of situations. I will say that, you know, I think more recently, I think Impact has been one of those teams, you know, seeing what they've been able to do and a lot of the players that they have. And actually, so when the Saints picked up, you know, Mouse and J-Rab, I was a little disappointed that we weren't going to get the impact of last year. And, you know, obviously we played them multiple times now. They've beat us 3 times in a row, and we have gotten the, you know, the impact with J-Rab and Mouse. So we kind of know how that's gone so far, but you know, we lost to them 3 times in a row. One of these days we'll hopefully put up a win against them, but we'll see what happens.
It has been interesting because you guys lost by 1 at the first event to Impact. Then you draw them on Sunday, your very first Sunday, and they beat you by 3. And then they kind of put the wolf stick on you guys in this last one and beat you by 5. So, you know, Aaron, I'll throw the same question to you. Anybody that you grew up kind of, again, if same question, you guys make it to the finals and sitting across from you is what team, and why would you like to beat that team?
Well, I guess I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of Daniel as far as, you know, Impact right now is the team to beat. That's who I want to play. And well, we've played them 3 times, and we still haven't gotten over the hump just yet. But, you know, going into it, that first match with Uprising, you know, I really didn't think about who I really wanted to be on the other side. I just wanted to be sure. I wanted to have the confidence in myself to say that I can compete and stay, you know, just stay in line with everybody. And, you know, as far as who I want to play at any given event, who is the best team at that time? That's who I want to play against. How do I stack up against the best team in the world? And right now, Impact is that team. So whether it, I guess if we're talking individual players, definitely like to get back at J-Rab for sure. No reason at all other than losing that one-on-one. So I think that'd be a good matchup. Maybe Zach Yakimek, because he's got good looking hair just like me. So those would be the 2 guys. But definitely that team. That team is very good. That team is very good. So it's either, you know, right now it's either them or Dynasty, really, especially the way Dynasty's.
I was gonna say, Aaron, that you know no. I just did. You had said that in your opinion that Impact is the best team in the world, even though Dynasty has won 4 majors in a row, and is I feel unarguably the best team in the world. But you know, I mean, Impact was the #1 ranked team up until the last event. But then you did say Dynasty. But I would just like to say this to you both. I don't know if you have ever seen the Tiger Woods documentary, but there was, you know, because I asked this question to all these up and coming squads, and it's like, oh, who would you like to have out there? You know, like who would you like to face when it actually? Did I lose you guys? Are you guys still there? Oh, there you are. Is that who would you like to face? Still there. And yeah, so there was a Tiger Woods documentary recently on HBO, and one of the you know, commentators of golf who's been there forever, and he watched Tiger's whole rise, and all these, you know, during Tiger's rise when he was winning all these majors, you would have these golfers come up and they would say, yeah, man, I just want to draw Tiger when it's just me and him, you know, and we're sitting at 1 and 2 just going for that win in the major. And the guy's sitting there and he's like, yeah, okay, that's what they would say. Yeah, the fuck you do. Do you have any idea what you're getting yourself into in that situation? Like, yeah, you don't want none of that, you know. So I'm just warning you guys ahead of time that, look, and just like Mike had said, like, and I love the fact that, look, yes, Impact and Dynasty, you got to throw Heat in there, and then now Damage, and then with Infamous and Revo kind of on that other tier on the outside. But I just love the mindset that you guys have, because you're seeking, you're reaching for it, but you also have a no bullshit assessment of where you guys are at. So just keep that no bullshit assessment, because, you know, look at ML Kings, right? The ML Kings have made it to Sunday 4 times in a row, but they have not found a way to get past that first round. They just don't seem to have an answer for that. And that's a whole nother part of the game. But what I'm seeing with you guys is that you guys are chess masters up here. Like, you know, you're not chess masters of the pro paintball game yet, but you are approaching the game of paintball with the chess master type aptitude to understanding the variables. And so I just warning you to the treacherous road that you guys are getting into when you do get to those, the Sundays. But I also would like to pat you on the back a little bit and say, hey, I do feel that you have your head screwed on straight to understand that treacherous road to try to figure it out, because it's going to be fun for me to watch, again, just super selfishly as just a fan that gets to sit on the sidelines and see all this craziness, play out. But also having been there myself, so I know, I know how crazy it's going to get and how gnarly it can be in many, physically, mentally, teammate wise, and all that sort of stuff. So I wish you nothing but the best of luck on your quest, because I think that just watching 3 events in, that I feel like you guys have a chance. If you can keep your team together, you may have to lose a body or gain a body here, because as you guys get better, you may get poached. But you guys have got to the point where, because some people might say, all right, well, look, this is probably as good as the Hurricanes are ever going to get. They've crescendoed here this early because they've been playing together for so long. But, show me the mouse on that team, or show me show me the Alex, or the, whatever. Show me the super elite threat on that team. And I would counter with, you don't understand what you're looking at right now. Because these guys they've gotten to this point, and we don't really know how good these guys are going to be. You can't look at what you guys have done so far and think, okay, well, you can only get to here. No one knows, including yourselves, how good you guys can be, because you're good enough already to lose to Impact by 1 point in your first pro tournament ever, to shut out Uprising, who's been here for 6 years, to make a Sunday and take 6, to go 3-1. And no one even knows, if you put a gun to the head of the average paintball fan and said, all right, name 5 dudes on the New Orleans Hurricanes, they'd be like, you're talking about the New England Hurricanes, right? You know what I'm saying? That's the average paintball fan, right? Am I wrong? You know what I'm saying? You have to make people understand.
No,
and you guys
you're not wrong.
you just got here. So
even I wonder.
3 events in, that's what I'm saying. No one knows. You don't, Aaron, Daniel, you don't know how good you can be. No one knows. Your teammates don't know. You don't know. I never knew how good I could be. No one knows, right? Ryan Greenspan did. I would say this all the time. Ryan Greenspan did not come out of the womb God's gift to this game. Neither did Oliver, neither did Chris Lasoya or Alex fucking Goldman. It doesn't matter, man. It's you have to play jazz with the possibilities here. And you do that through hard work, embracing your talent, and embracing the demon that lives in your soul that wants to go out there and conquer. And also understanding that you are not God's gift. Like Archie said in the last one, sometimes you gotta show up to practice and be like, you know what? I suck and I need to learn today, and sometimes, I think that there's nothing but goodness in front of you guys. It just depends on how you deal with it. So again, we can't see her all night, but I do want to throw a couple more questions your way. Then we're going to sign off. So yeah, based on what I just said, how good, Daniel, do you think you guys can be? No bullshit. The best ever.
Yeah. So, man, I don't think I can answer that question directly. I think that one of our strengths is that we're very humble. We do understand, we have a lot to learn. No question about it. If we come in and we think that we don't have anything to learn, that's just completely wrong. So I think, I think over our time in the divisional ranks, we're always a consistent Sunday, Sunday team. If we didn't make Sunday, it was crazy. We were going 4-0, 3-1 every time, making deep runs. And I think that's what we've come to expect. And we kind of know how to build, we know the building blocks that it takes to get there. And so I think we need to just keep working and keep trying to improve. I think we can be one of those Sunday teams. We really have to find a way right now to beat the teams, the 2 teams below us in the ranks, or the bottom 2 teams in our bracket that's not us, and then we got to find a way to squeeze a win out of one of those top tier teams to make it on the Sunday. We just got to find a way to win those points that we maybe shouldn't, those low body situations, and come away with a win to get in at 3-1 instead of being on the bubble at 2-2.
If I was you guys, I think that's a great answer. I would throw it to you. Same thing here, Aaron, but I would be doing just so many situational awareness drills. I don't know what your practices look like, but if you think you're going to catch up to these teams that have been doing this for 20 years, it's about time behind the gun, right? It's about repetition. It's about understanding in your mind and having enough of those variables played out so that when it happens, you can, treat that as it's second nature. So Aaron, how do you guys run your practices, and then how good do you think you guys can get?
Well, as far as a layout, typical layout practice, we're going to start the day walking the field for as long as it takes, hour, maybe two. And by the time we're all sunburnt, then we go and warm up. And then we start building up. We look at lanes. We figure out, okay, who can we shoot? What's the probability that we're going to shoot this guy? All right, how many times can we do it? Is it even worth shooting this shot? And then we just build up from there. We build up from lanes. Okay, let's look at one half of the field, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, depending on what it is that we're trying to do, and slowly increase it till we start just banging out points for the rest of the day. And we're not just going to play point after point after point. We're going to play a few points, and then we're going to get together as a group, talk about it, talk about a breakout. What's the pros and cons of shooting one way versus another way? What's the hole that can be exploited by another team if we show this particular look? So we want to try and get all the variables figured out in that first weekend. And then usually we'll invite a team out. Doesn't matter if it's a divisional team or a pro team, which recently we had Russian Legion out for the second weekend of the Philly practice, the Philly layout. So that was different. It was good, but it's a different pace, and that's fine. But at that point, second weekend, let's plug the holes. Let's get this machine well oiled to the point where once it comes time to play the first point, everybody knows what they have to do. What the guy next to you has to do, and you just got to go out there and execute the game plan. And that's what you got to do. So that's what we try to do.
And then as far as
the team goes, well, it started out with, all right, guys, can we win a point? And then we won a point, and then we connected points, and then we won a match. And so, I guess Bianca still has the same goals. Me personally, I'm past winning 1 point. I want to get back to making Sunday again.
Yes,
which is
what
Daniel was saying. We used to be a Sunday team all the time. We even had one event, our worst event, in my opinion, in semi-pro. We still went undefeated. We had 1 win and 3 ties. And on Sunday, well, don't worry about Sunday. It was bad for us. I'll tell you that. It was really bad. I had a headache the whole way home.
Undefeated, though.
There weren't enough. Oh, yeah, we were undefeated in prelims. That's what I tell everybody. Don't worry about Sunday where we got absolutely massacred. But, moments like that, it's a humbling moment where, like at the first event, we go 1-3. And so, everybody wants to make Sunday, but it's all about what each person puts into it and what the team puts into it. So, with us, everybody's putting in the work. We just got to get all our guys together and just go play, have a good time, enjoy the moment, because this will not be here forever. And I think everybody understands that. So we go out there and make the best of the time that we have together. And I think that's what helps make us be so successful so early in our careers in the pro division is we understand every event, it gets harder and harder to maintain where you were at the last event. So what are you going to do better this time that you didn't do last time? And as long as we keep making these improvements, I think we're going to be okay.
I think so too. I mean, and you were 100% correct, and it doesn't last forever. I mean, you see the gray, you see the luxurious gray on this beard right here. I used to look like you guys. See how young and spry. Look at Daniel Camp, dead center of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Look how young he looks at 30-something years old. And the Aaron Pate also, just look at that face. Look at how young and spry the Aaron Pate looks. I don't know how old he is, but I think he's like probably 25, 24. Bro,
no,
not a day past
I'll be 30 in a couple months. I'll be at the 30
you have all
club.
your hair still. I'm just saying, it doesn't last forever. So, gentlemen, enjoy it while you can. And before I let you go, a little context. Okay, so I have all my notes in front of me. Your first 3 events, you were -4, 15, 8-19 at your first event. The next one, you went 3-1. You were over through even losing by impact to 3 on Sunday. You were still a +2, 21 points for, 21 against. At this last event, you went 2-2. You did not make the cut. You went -4. Now, to compare and contrast with the Saints, because again, if everyone's out there and they're wondering, like, how good are the Hurricanes actually? We don't really know. No, we know. You guys have played 3 events. You made a Sunday. This is where you guys are at so right now, as it stands. And I feel, again, with a bright road in front of you. Now, if we look at the Saints just rebooted with a bunch of divisional players. You guys just moved up from semi-pro. There's a gigantic, huge chasm of a difference in results. You guys were -4 at this last one. Again, +2 at the one before that to make a Sunday. The Saints, they were at a -21. They scored 4 points in 4 games. 3 of those were in 1 game. They got shut out twice. 4 points for, 25 against, a -21 to take last place. That's where it stands, gentlemen, as we move forward here in the professional division of the NXL. Daniel, thank you so much for your time. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, the New Orleans Hurricanes currently at 10th place through 3 events here, and it's a very interesting, evolving story. Which one of you wants to give shout outs to your sponsors so Mike doesn't kill us for not hyping your sponsors before we sign off? I'll let it
definitely Daniel, because he has all the gear on.
Yeah. I've got a nice little list here. So definitely want to shout out all the sponsors. Planet Eclipse. I've got the shirt from when I was like, 15 years old. This thing is super old, maybe older than Aaron Smith. Gotta give him credit for the new LV2. GI Sports, the paint has been shooting amazing for us. We've been a GI team for a long time, and it's still shooting awesome. JT, it's good to be back in a ProFlex. That's something that I've worn a long time, and it feels like going home, putting that mask back on. Carbon, the SC bottoms and the packs are just the nicest stuff out there. It's amazing, especially for a skinny guy like me. And then Virtue for the loaders, can't go wrong with Aspire. As far as Fields, Gulf Coast Paintball, Matt has been with us since the beginning, and then LAX, Drew Bankston has been helping us out recently, and a lot of props to him. I also want to give a shout out to all of our friends and family. We've had a lot of support, especially on the pit crew. We've got our pit crew is pretty much family. So my parents, my wife, Annalisa, Aaron's wife, everyone's, family and friends are coming out to help us. And we really appreciate that. All the other teams and people that have supported us. I do have to give a shout out to all the Colorado people who let me get spins with them, the Blitz guys at Blitz, and APC and Paintball Adventures. So yeah, that's kind of it for me.
Aaron, I'm sure you want to give a shout out to Sriracha, because I think you're wearing a Sriracha shirt right now, but I'm not exactly sure.
Actually, this is the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Let's see if I can get that in there.
Okay.
Spicy rooster with the AK. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, they're not a sponsor yet, but yeah, we can work on that. Yeah, well, you should probably hit them up with a little email or something, because it's definitely right up Black Rifle Coffee's wheelhouse here for some pro paintball stuff. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen. Best of luck here for the rest of the year. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this interview. New Orleans Hurricanes making a pretty big splash here early on. Again, making a Sunday second event. That's pretty legit. Can they keep it up is the big question. Everyone's going to give them their best game moving forward. It's going to be really fun to watch. I'm Matty Marshall here at Go Sports Live. We're going to keep you guys updated moving on to the next event. It's going to be a pretty crazy season, as it already has. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Daniel, again, and Aaron, thank you guys so much for doing what you guys are doing and for giving us your time. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
To what would you give each moment in a day if you knew that you only get 4 unique and different days to shine? It is such an arbitrary number, 4 to be sure. But the parameters are set. You know the day of your execution or of your deliverance. This is a trial by combat. It's a day to define you, a day to test you, a day where all the torturous hours of training come together, where it's you, your gun, your preparation, your teammates, and your tenacity on display, dissected by your enemies, with your skill, your will to win, weighed and measured. It is your chance to prove to the world that in this small slice of place and time, that you above all others are to be remembered, to be respected. In the sport of paintball, it will come down to Sunday, the holy day, when you get to earn your place in the game. And in 2021, you get 4 of these. So this is the story of many moments, but of 1 year of what happens on 4 Sundays.
So hard they have to, they know it, right? Smart fucking paintball.
Malice is just saving the day again, and Malice gets the crossfield shot as well.
Guys couldn't make the corner like I was as consistent.
They get Konstantin Fedorov back. They have Todd Martinez as the coach. Randy Smith is intent on building a championship team.
I got the chills, and I was like, we're going to win this tournament.
Pressure's all on them because they're number 1 team. We're the 20th place team.
Level undefeated, the number 1 seed in their division.
They have everything to lose, and we have nothing to lose.
No one can touch Dynasty here. That was a complete masterclass.
You go to bed dreaming you get to play Impact on Sunday and send them home. Then you dream you get to play Houston Heat. Who's the other Titan? Dynasty. There's no better feeling than going up against the big Titans.